I'm a baller and I'm unstoppable. I gave that advice this week to two women in completely different places in their careers. And I want you to feel that truth for yourself as well. Welcome to Women Leaders on the Move, a Her C-Suite radio podcast. I'm your host, Natalie Benamou, and every week I bring you inspirational conversations and ideas from today's top leaders to help you in the second half of your career. I'm also the founder of Her C-Suite, a professional network for women leaders defining what's next. Here's what I've been noticing recently in conversations with women leaders. There are themes that keep showing up, and I think they may sound familiar to you too. So let's dive in now. Many women have been sharing that they're in careers that no longer light them up. And sometimes it's because they're doing something they're good at or it's familiar. And the thing is, right now, we're in really uncertain times, and staying the course can feel like the safe, best route. But it isn't always the one that is serving us best. Here's what I found: you may be feeling stuck because you don't believe there's another option. Sometimes our brain tricks us into thinking there is no alternative option. And in fact, it will say, no, no, don't think that way. No, there isn't. No, but instead of yes, and. Right now, in this moment, I want you to ask yourself if you've been thinking about where you want to go and your brain is telling you there's no way you can make a change. Ask yourself what else is true. If you have felt like your work is underappreciated, working nonstop with deadlines and the constant interruptions, and your career and your calendar are not your own, you can't imagine doing anything else. And you almost feel like the pressure is overwhelming. If you're evaluating what else is true before you even do that, let's take a pause. I want you to close your eyes and we're going to do a 16-second exercise. Breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 4 seconds. Let your breath out for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 4 seconds. How did that make you feel? If I was saying some things earlier that was giving you some anxiety about thinking that you couldn't make a choice and you did this breathing exercise, your brain has relaxed and you might even feel a sense of calm that 16 seconds. So, how can we apply that to making decisions, and especially decisions that may have a big impact on our lives? Decisions that, when we're at a crossroads, we're not sure if we should go left or right or what we should do, and we just feel overwhelmed. If you feel that way, it isn't because you don't have options or you're not sure what to do. It's because we're stopping ourselves from seeing there is another path forward. And I can tell you from personal experience, I was in my career for almost 3 decades before I made a change. I kept doing it because I was good at it. I had success. I enjoyed the work I was doing. I liked the people I was working with until I wasn't enjoying it anymore. And it became really stressful. I had a pivotal moment that I shared on previous podcasts. You may be in that moment now. And there's a quote that I really like: "What got you here won't get you there," by Marshall Goldsmith. And I've also talked on this show about having my rear view mirror look bigger than the windshield, although I no longer think that. There are moments when I have, and it's okay if you do too. And you are thinking about your career and your success, and you're identifying with that. That's totally normal. But Getting to the future and what makes you greater than where you are now starts with figuring out your alignment. That breath work that we did is a first step. It has us pause. And now it's time to put pen to paper and decide, what do you really value? What will become your North Star at this crossroads moment? I have a dear friend, Lori Wessels, who's been on the show multiple times. She's also an author in our book, Power of What's Next: Bold Moves by Design. She described something early on when we started collaborating 5 years ago, and it stuck with me, and I share it with women all the time. It's a really easy recipe to decide your North Star. Take a piece of paper, and if you're walking or out and about, you can hit pause and come back, or I will also have this in the show notes. It's called Love Like Capable. Think about all the things that you do on a daily basis, and it doesn't have to only be work. What do you love? What do you like? And what are you capable of doing? I've shared this, as I said, with women that I advise, and there's this clarity moment that comes from doing this exercise. You can apply this to any scenario. It doesn't matter your career phase or your age or your career level. It's agnostic of all of that. And it's really just about you. After you do that exercise, what did you discover about what you like doing, what you love doing, and what are you just capable of doing? Some days I feel like I'm in the capable column all day long, and then I do something I love and it lifts me up. We can't always live in the love column. I wish we could, but there are ways to infuse that into our crossroads moment and decide, how do we do more of that in our lives? And this will serve you in unexpected ways. Now, you might be thinking, I don't have the luxury of time at this crossroad moment. Things can happen to us that are unexpected, like a transition out of a role, and you may not have even been prepared for it. When it happens, it's important to really get grounded in what's important to you. The first thing I do when something happens that's unexpected is to give yourself permission to feel the loss of what you know, and be a little honest that maybe the loss isn't so much upsetting as the fear of the unknown. The fear of not knowing what's next can really throw us off, especially when a transition happens and we don't see it coming. Or maybe we did, but we really hoped it wasn't going to come. The second thing we need to do is not dwell on that feeling. You can feel the loss, but then you have to move on. It's so hard, but it is paramount to not wait for taking a step forward. I've been in sales my whole career, and I've pitched some really big deals. And normally I had a lot of success, but there were those deals that didn't come through. And I was heartbroken, to be honest with you, especially when the team worked so hard and we really thought we had the solution nailed. And then I got the call that we didn't have it nailed as expected. And that can happen in our careers as well. I would give myself 1 hour. That's a pretty short timeline. You can give yourself a day, but I would give myself 1 hour. And then I would go all in on finding that next opportunity. So if you're at a crossroads moment and you had something unexpected happen, the third thing is to start making an effort with your network. And I've heard from women that sometimes if you are at a company for long enough, you've been focused on your internal network and you haven't had the time to really explore your external network. The good news is it's never too late. And you shouldn't look at this moment in regret and say, oh, I haven't kept in touch with that person. I'm here to tell you that it is such a gift to hear from someone and reconnect with an old colleague or friend. I recently saw a post on LinkedIn from someone that I worked with 30 years ago, and we worked together on and off for a long time. and they had announced that they were doing something new. And I was so surprised because I wasn't expecting to see that announcement, although it made sense. They had been doing this for a long time. And I reached out, and it was so delightful to see and hear the direction that they're going in and doing something that gives them joy. I love that. And we hadn't talked in probably 16 years. So I'm telling you, it's never too late to reach out to someone. This is the best time when you're in the crossroads moment to get curious as a learner. It takes away barriers when we learn and explore something new. And while you're doing that, I want you to keep in mind that mantra that I said at the beginning of the show: I'm a baller and I'm unstoppable. And then add, I can do anything I want. This is that moment to say it out loud, really, now in your car, on your walk, at your desk. Say those words. I'm a baller. I can do anything. I'm unstoppable. Feel what that is like in being curious and feeling confident. I often hear women in the second half of their careers imagining what they can do, and they want to align purpose as their driving force. I want to also say that don't confuse capable or like love with purpose. The exercise you were doing earlier is something that helps you identify what you enjoy doing, but your purpose is something else. I believe my purpose is to lift women up. It's why I come to you every week, hopefully to give you some insights and help you walk away with something unexpected that you can apply. It's one of my core beliefs. What is a core belief for you? What do you believe is the reason you're here? Why is it that you have been given certain gifts and maybe you're not using those gifts? I got to give you a hint. It's not your job. It's not the job you used to have. It's not your work persona. It is who you are at a higher vibration level. What is it that gives you joy? And what do people find joy in knowing you? Discovering your purpose goes with a personal alignment, and it will serve as your North Star. You can give weight to how important having a sense of purpose is for you. In our boards program, my partner and co lead, Naomi Kent, surveyed 100 board directors and asked why do they want to be on a board. And the number one thing they said was purpose. Knowing your purpose is really going to help you as you evaluate and get aligned on your direction at this crossroads moment. Discover what it is that not only lights you up, but it also makes an impact in your life and in the lives of people around you. In this crossroads moment, messages are probably coming to you. Things are being mentioned. There might be a big sign that's coming to you in a conversation, or maybe it's something subtle. We tend to discount the things that are coming to us, those messages, and we also discount doing activities that come easily to us. If you were asked routinely for advice on fill in the blank, and you always said, yeah, but it's nothing, I do it easily, that could be this thing that you can pivot into in this moment. You can layer it in, whether you decide to stay in corporate or you're exploring what is your next chapter. The thing that people keep asking you about should get included in that decision. When we're making these decisions, it's a pivot to be aligned with what really gives us joy and also where we want to go with our careers. And sometimes it's a leap of faith. I heard a story this week about someone who had a 22-year military career in HR and decided they wanted to pivot to project management. They didn't know anything about project management, but they started by asking for information from companies they were targeting. You see, when you reach out to someone and you say, I'm curious to learn more about the industry, would you have a cup of coffee with me? Most people will say yes. They love giving advice. Well, that ended up turning into an opportunity unexpectedly. And the person who had been seeking advice met with someone and said, I don't have anything for you now, but I'll keep you in mind. And in only 2 weeks, they heard back from that person and got invited to apply. Their resume was rejected because they had a 22-year military career in HR and they had no project management experience. That person didn't feel discouraged. They reached out and said, you know what? I just wanted to thank you for making that introduction. And the reply was, wait a second, you weren't supposed to get rejected. You need to interview. Give me a little bit of time and I'll see what I can do. And they ended up getting the role. When we make a point of being intentional with what we're doing, even if it's outside of anything we know, that is progress. That's moving forward and achieving living that best life. What is on your pivot list? Is there something you always dreamed of doing, but pushed it off because there might have been something in your life that was telling you otherwise? Get curious. Explore what is out there, like the person I just told you about. With AI, you can do a prompt that will help you. Try this. First, open up your AI and say your name. Tell it your name. And hopefully, you've been training it on what you think. So it already knows you. And explain that you want to leverage your experience to land in a new industry. What opportunities are there for fractional work, consulting, starting a business, or landing a board role? Here's the most important part of the prompt. Ask, what questions do you have for me? Then you start a dialogue and you'll discover things that you might have forgotten you enjoy doing or that is out there, and you can make the transfer of your expertise into a related industry that is looking for exactly what you're offering. Discovery happens before you make the pivot, and it's key in gathering information, vetting the reliability of the information, and then seeking advice from trusted colleagues and friends. And I'm here to tell you that going it alone is not the right route. That's why friends are so important. There's a moment I call the cliff. When you are at a crossroads and you've made that decision to move into this new pivot, whatever that looks like. It could be that you are starting in a fractional role, it could be that you're starting in a new corporate career, wherever you are. But especially if you left your career and are starting something new, becoming an entrepreneur, looking to get on boards, whatever that is, you realize that you don't have to be in a meeting. Your calendar is not fully booked out back to back from morning until night, and there's silence. The phone isn't ringing. You don't have anyone standing at the door of your office waiting to catch your eye to be motioned in. What happens when we reach the cliff moment? It's different for everyone. I did a lot of things early on when I became an entrepreneur to fill those moments when I was on the edge and I wanted to avoid that cliff. And I am so happy to say that I've never been totally alone. I created a business that has a blend of advisors who help me with the decisions of how to grow. And I have an amazing professional network of women that I can tap into, and we have reciprocal, limitless sharing happening in her C suite. Although I don't have one single business partner, I have developed partnerships with women who are also on a path to building out their businesses and making an impact. It's one of the most fulfilling aspects that I've been doing, and it really opens me up to a wide range of backgrounds and perspectives. And if you are thinking about becoming an entrepreneur or starting something new and you don't want to be alone, partnerships is a great way to do it. Early on in her C suite, I heard from recruiters who asked me if I had anyone in her C suite who was board ready. We did have several women who had been through programs and had served on corporate boards that were board ready, but by and large, we had a large group that was not ready to get on a corporate board. I didn't have a program that helped equip them for the board interview and how to be board ready. And so when I met Naomi Kent, I knew instantly that she was the perfect solution. We now joke that we're the yin and the yang in our programs, and together it's been an incredibly delightful experience with her. When this show airs, I will be launching a new program, Design Your Next Chapter. And similarly, I decided not to go it alone. I didn't want to have a course by myself. I had already experienced success with Naomi for boards, and I really enjoy the energy that two people can bring to a course. And I looked for people that I could lean into to co lead. And I asked Lisa Sakai, who is the founder of One Vision Retirement, to join me. And you know where I met her? Here on this podcast. She was a guest. Then she came in and spoke for her C suite about bucket list planning and living your bucket list. Fast forward to this year, we reconnected. You might have heard her recent podcast interview with me. And now we're even layering in another person into the course, Michelle Peacock, who's going to be doing human design with us. And all of this is really around this idea of collaboration. When you're at that crossroads moment and you feel alone, look around you, collaborate and partner. Through Michelle, the domino effect has happened. And I have a third course that I'm launching, only I'm not doing it alone. I met Shannon Heaton, who's an entrepreneur and doing amazing things. And she is coming in, and we are co leading a course in October about entrepreneurship. And it's Revenue Ready Launchpad. And I have to tell you, all of this happened organically, but also somewhat intentionally. When you're at a crossroads, you have that moment, that opportunity to think about who's around you, who can go with me, and how can I move forward? We created her C suite because we believe that we are the result of the people that we surround ourselves with. Like I just described to you, amazing women that when we find synergy, we can make our own seat at the table and our own board of advisors. The partnerships I'm outlining here is just to show you how you can think about people that you know and believe that with the right people, anything is possible. Having women who are not only cheerleaders, but also challenge you to think bigger is really what will lead to your ultimate success in this moment. We've been talking today about crossroads moments. Some of them come in waves, others happen slowly over time. The through line is to maintain the mantra: I'm a baller and I'm unstoppable and I'm in demand mindset. You, my friend, are destined for amazing things. You're already great. And it's your time to step into the direction your heart and mind are leading you in. When this show comes out, I want to invite you personally today to join Lisa Sakai and me for a Crossroads Moment Masterclass. It's where we begin this work together and are going to talk about how to step into clarity and gain momentum with confidence. If you have listened to this after the day the show comes out, there's still a way that you can work with Lisa and me, and I'll have all the information about Design Your Next Chapter in the show notes. Thank you for spending your time with me today. I hope that if you walk away with one thing, you know that you are a baller and you are also unstoppable. If you're at a crossroads moment, join me tonight, September 3rd, with Lisa Sakai. You can get all the information in the show notes. If you're listening to this show after September 3rd, don't worry. You can get in on our course where we are helping women define your next chapter. You can get all of the information at hercsuite.com. Follow me on LinkedIn. You can get it on Her C-Suite on LinkedIn or on my personal page. And most importantly, I hope you know how much I appreciate you. Keep shining your light bright.
The world needs you.